And this video we are going to talk about the combining function and then composite function. See, for example, you have f of x is equal to minus 3x2 plus 1, and the other one we say g of x. These are the function. G of x is equal to x minus 1. See, if now we are talking about the combining this, we say that what is the f of x plus g of x. This doesn't work very well. So what we do, we have to write it. We write it this way: f plus g. Just these hands are not. So we say, we write it this way. We kind of doing calculation of the f of f g x. It means what it means. That we have these two, just add them up. Say minus 3x2 plus 1, and then plus the square root of x minus 1. We just do the plus here. This is the f of x, and this is g of x plus. The same thing for, if you write it this way, f minus g as a function of x, this one, then the negative sign is going to be here, minus 3x2 plus 1 minus x1. Okay? Minus square root of x minus 1. How about we do the multiplication? We say f times g x minus 3x2 plus 1 times this one. So also we can the division is the same. The division or some people write it they may write it. Let's clear this. So if it's division, f g is a function of x. Now we write minus 3x2 plus 1 and x minus 1. Now we are going to talk about uh, composite function. Composite function, the thing is this has a different way. Composite function, for example, we have okay. Now let's clear this one and write this way that what does this mean? Means f of gx. If you have f of x is equal to 1 over x plus 1 and g of x is equal to x minus 2. How do we do that? We want to first find f of g or gx, which is inside, is one function inside another function. We call it composite function. Now let's see what it talks about. If we say f, this is f of x, okay? It's a g of x. Instead of x in these, you put this one, okay? Means that f of gx, which is that 1 f of, let's write this one to f of g sub x, 1 x minus 2, means what it means. We put in the this function, we put x, whatever it is in there. You know, instead of x, we put x minus 2. So it's going to be 1 over. When you see something like that, you put the value in there. X, instead of x, you put the value x minus 2. So this is 1x minus 2 and then plus 1, right? Instead of x, we write x minus 2. Okay? So it's going to be 1x minus 1. It's composite. Composite function, it means that there is a function inside another function. So we find that g sub x here, that which is x minus 2, we put it, the value of x in the function, in this function f of x. So let's do this. Let's say this one. G f x actually means g, and then we have f of x here. Within g, we put the x value. This is going to be x value for this x. So it's going to be 1 over x plus 1. Instead of x, we put this one. Minus 2. Okay. And then if you want to add this, we add both item to x minus 2x plus 1. The first one is going to be, see, this is going to be x plus 1, x plus 1 minus 2, x plus 1. So this one cancels out 1 minus 2 x plus 1. 2x plus 1 is going to 1 minus 2x plus 1 is going to minus 2x plus 2. So this is about composite function. So in general, if you have something like you can, like you say, for example, you have f of x, 3x minus 2, 2x plus 1. See, if you say, they ask you put f 3. What does that mean? Instead of x, you put 3 instead of x here. The value of x there. So it's going to be 3 times 3 minus 2, 2 times 3 plus 1. So it's going to be 9 minus 2 is going to be 7. 6 plus 1 is going to be 7. It's going to be 1. So if you put value for x in this, if you say something like that, it means in this function you put whatever the value of x is going to be 3, and you put it in there and you find f of x. So f of x is going to be 3 times 3, 9, minus 2, 7, and then 2, 3, 6, so it's going to be 1. Sometimes they ask you to put some other value, like you put, we are talking about the same concept, composite function. Now we're just giving some more examples that you find out even in substitution, whatever they give you the value of x, they want to find the value for f of x, you do this. It's like, suppose x is going to be equal to 2x minus 1. Now we say f of 2x minus 1, what is going to be? Instead of x, we put this one here. 3 times 2x minus 1 minus 2. And here we put, instead of x, we put 2x plus 1. 2x minus 1 plus 1. So when you solve it, this is, you use distributive. You multiply this one, it's going to be multiplied by this one, and also multiplied by this one. See, distributive law is 6x minus 3 minus 2, right? We multiply this to the parentheses, it's going to be 6x, and then 3 times minus 1 is going to be minus 3. And then here we have 4x minus 2, this is plus 1. So if we simplify the 6x minus 5 and 4x minus 1. See, you just substitute. You say some, you know, if you said what is going to be, what's going to be the function when x is 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1, yeah. So you put, instead of x here, you put 2x minus 1, 2x minus 1, and then you solve this, and you get the result. So you got to know that let's solve a few more examples. So x is the square root of 2. Okay, so what's going to be this? F of x is going to be 3 times square root of 2 minus 2, 2 times the square root of 2 plus 1. So it's going to be see, it's as easy as this one. You know, you just put value of x in there to find the f of x. In some equations, you know, like in a quadratic equation, you say f of x, or sometimes they say g of x. You know, doesn't matter, h of x, whatever. You know, is equal to x2 plus 3x minus 1. And they say you put the value for f of x, f is going to be 1 over 2. What's going to be 1 over 2? What's going to be the f of x? We put the value for x, so it's going to be 1 over 2 to the power of 2, 1 over 2, yeah. 3 times 1 over 2 minus 1 is going to be 1 over 4 plus 3 over 2 minus 1. And you solve it. You know how to solve this. You know, we don't go through the details, you know, but you find the answer for that. Let's solve this one. It is 1 over 4. We're going to make a common denominator. You're going to multiply this fraction by 2, both the numerator and denominator by 2, this by 2, and this by 4. You know, I mean both of them. Numerator and this denominator. By 2 is going to be 6 over 4, and then minus, we multiply this numerator and denominator by 4 is going to be minus 4 over 4. So the answer is going to be 4. 7 minus 4 is going to be 3 over 4. So the answer is going to be this. Okay. So you got to realize that we so anything in another example, let's say f of x is equal to minus x2 minus 3x plus 5. Now, if this is sometimes happens when you want to see, this is going to be something like that, because it's going to open downward because of the minus sign here. If it was plus, it is minus. If it was plus, it would be something like that. Open upward. So I just want to give you some, examples here that to find out that if what do we mean like that? Like if we say this is like, we're going to get into that later. It's something, an equation is something like this. Okay. For example, first of all, talk about this one. We didn't talk about that before. Let's talk about this one. See, if you find what is going to be, it's hard to find, this time, like if you multiply them, you're going to get 5, or if you times the negative and you're going to get the positive sign here. Well, sometimes it doesn't work sometimes, what do you find if you have like this? What do you find the number that multiplied together is going to be 5, and add them up is going to be -3. The factor of 5 is 1 and 5, and if we add them up, if for example this is -5 plus 1, it's not going to give you this one. Okay, so at this point we are gonna you're going to find f of x minus 1 over 2. What's going to be the answer? Is the substitution. Means in this equation here, for x we put minus 1 over 2. So we just write this one, we say x minus 1 over 2 to the power of 2, and then we have minus 3 times, what is that? X minus 1 over 2 plus 5. So what's going to be the answer? This is going to be 1 over 4. Okay, and then we have a minus sign here, and behind it, we raise this one to the power of 2, and then minus, we put a minus sign behind it because the minus is behind the parentheses, and then this is going to be plus 3 over 2 plus 5. And you just solve this to get the value for f of x. So f of x. Common denominator 1 over 4 plus 2, we multiply 2 is going to be 6 over 4, and then we got to have the 4 here, so we multiply both sides, both top and bottom by 4 is going to be plus 24. So it's going to be 27 over 4. So you got these things you are going to use. It's going to happen a lot. I mean, you are going to use this a lot in the in math. So suppose that we have a g of x here. G of x is equal to the square root of 2. If you want to find f of g of x, what is going to be? Means f, instead of the value for x, you put a square root of 2. What's going to be? So we put value for x there. We say 3 times square root of minus 2 and 2 times square root of 2 plus 1. It just put the whatever the value of x, we put the value of x. But if you want to find of g sub f of x, means you have g here, but the x is going to be if we put this one, for example, now you have a g sub 3x minus 2, 2x plus 1. What's going to be? In this equation, you just put the value of this, 3x minus 2, 2x plus 1. So, you get the composite functions, you know, that it's very necessary to learn that, to find out how it works, you know. It's just whatever it is, the value of, if you want a f of g, then you got the f, this function, and you put the x, instead of x, you put a square root of x. Like in here, if that was a square root of it, we just put something like that. Instead of x, you put a square root of x. So it's so you got to know the difference between so sometimes you have f of g divided by g times x. Sometimes you have f times g of x. Sometimes f plus g times x. Sometimes f minus g times x. And then these are just combining, but the composite function, it is that, you know, you have you have g sub x is equal 1 over x minus 1. You know, you just divide this one by this one, and multiply f of x times this one, and multiplication, and then addition, this one plus this one. So that's a difference here. That's a difference that if we have f of g sub x, so you put the value of x, whatever, you know, whatever x, this value for whatever the x is, 3, 1 over x minus 1, minus 2, okay, and then we have another plus 1. So it's these are 3. So actually you just put the value of x in there, and that's it.